How's it going out there, world of esports? Welcome once again to BossFight TV's The Reload. This is episode number 20, if you're counting. We'll be covering April 10th through the 17th. You might notice where we're at kind of looks a little different.
There's no brick wall.
There's no brick wall.
That's weird.
No black background. Got some fancy craziness going on back here.
Logos.
Now, we have moved into our new studios, and we are still in the transition process. So throughout the next, I would say probably 3 or 4 episodes, you'll see some changes. And then as time goes on, we'll actually be moving it into a different area of this space, and it'll be totally different again. So be on the lookout for that awesomeness. Just like we like to start out every episode, make sure you check out our sponsors, iHeart Esports. That's at iHeart Esports on Twitter or iHeartEsports.com. They make really awesome stickers and all that good stuff. So go give them some loving and tell them that you sent, or that we sent you. So for sure. And make sure you listen for the code for your chance to win some free stickers from iHeart Esports. But as for the esports news, we have the one and only Powerup 2012.
Whoa. Very cool poster, because there were some of us who, as you may have known throughout the weekend, providing coverage, were actually there at the event.
We were there the whole time. Got some really great footage of the great tournament, great experience.
It was so spacious.
So
the venue,
spacious.
So spacious.
Shout out to Mike Sloosh.
A.K.A. Sloosher.
Sloosher. We had some videos that played on the stream, on Team Spooky's stream. We worked with him throughout the weekend.
Big shout out to Spooky.
Big shout out to Spooky for coming out. Had to deal with some internet situations and things like that. But, you know, if there wasn't an issue, it wasn't a major.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So how did you enjoy it, Mike?
My impressions overall was that, obviously coming from last year, me and you were both there. I actually wrote the day one recap article when we still had internet, so that was up in a timely fashion. And I quoted the favorite name for Powerup 2011 was the quote-unquote Dry Hump Fest 2011, because it was very, very packed, very, very musky and hot, but still a lot of great games being played. That was the first time MK9 had a major. And just like in Powerup tradition, we actually had another game have its very first major tournament. Skullgirls, which there were a lot of people that were very hype about that. But overall,
I was hyped about it.
I started on Thursday. I was on ladders, plugging in, power, getting everything set up. So I wouldn't have been anywhere else this weekend. I'm very happy to be there and help out. And BossFight was an official media partner as well as a sponsor. We actually provided the trophies, which you can see some pictures of those and other different videos and things like that. So very cool. Very happy to support the FGC as well as Arcade Legacy and Nathan O'Shryan Shields, all the guys that came out. So
shout out to all those guys, especially Nathan. That man works harder than I have ever seen anybody work to get a tournament up and running. So congratulations to him for putting on a great show. I think everyone who came out enjoyed themselves. Overall, there's some great competition and just some good times had by all. We got to meet a lot of really awesome people. Shout out to Webster. I have to give you a shout out, man. For real. I could sit here all day and give you a giant list of people, that we met, like the Focus Fire guys. Shout out to them as well. But we're not going to go and do the entire list.
Right.
But
let's get right into some results.
Let's go into the results. Let's take a look at number 1. We have Street Fighter Cross Tekken, which is really interesting to watch. Here we go with the top 4. We have Bananakin at number 1, Dominion number 2, Chris G at number 3, and then we have Brennan Kabara at number 4. So congratulations to those guys. It was really awesome to see them play.
Got those Evo points.
For Rizzle. Then we have Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition version 2012.
You nailed it. I'm very proud.
We have at number 1, Stanford Kelly. Number 2, Mr. Wolf Crone. Number 3, Dominion. And number 4, Bananakin. And then finally, or at least for my part, we have Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Chris G at number 1, Dominion at number 2. OMG, it's Andre at number 3. And at number 4, we have Mr. Frankie.
Very good stuff all the way around. But
For
as
real?
we all know, the Midwest is actually known for one of the largest Mortal Kombat communities. Big ups to Tim Static, Mortal Kombat Network, all of those guys who came out. Let's get into the final results for MK9. In first spot, we have Kizzle. Second place, we have Chris G. Third spot, we have 16-Bit. And last but not least, the man who actually started the, quote, great tournament, great experience, but it was also his birthday.
Indeed.
On Sunday of the event, got fourth place, Tom Brady, which he actually gave us. He was gracious enough to give us an interview, and he had a lot of really, really good things to say, as well as some leaked footage about the MLG Spring Fighter Arena. Yeah, maybe a little bit.
And I do have to say, shout out to MK Legend.
MK Legend, 15 years old.
15-year-old kid came out to dominate some people. He actually ended up on stream, on the main stage. I think that was the semifinals versus Tom Brady,
took a game off of Tom Brady, and Tom Brady was...
It was...
Well, Tom Brady, you could tell by the expression that he was a little flustered, but Triforce was flipping chairs, and he was
not get me started on Triforce, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he was going crazy. I kind of wish we got some B-roll of him.
He always goes crazy.
I'm sure somebody did. I bet Cameron got some B-roll.
Yeah. But anyway, big shout-outs to the Mortal Kombat community for coming out once again to Powerup. Next, we have the King of Fighters 13, which it was pretty much everybody's guess. We had Bala, who actually not only won the MLG Winter Championships, but actually went from Columbus into Cincinnati and has actually been hanging around here until Powerup. So big ups to him for hanging around and at least playing with a lot of the local guys. I think that there was a lot of help because, as you'll see farther down the list, number two we have Chris G. In third place, we have Bananakin. And number 4, Dandy J, who is actually a really big player here, was actually sponsored going into those Winter Championships. Good stuff. Again, once out to all those guys.
For real?
Let's move right into Soul Calibur 5. First place, we have Mick. Second place, we have Empire KDZ. Third place, we have Mystic Bill. And third place, we have Devil Chip. And those grand finals between KDZ and Mick were actually intense. They were really crazy. But there's actually going to be more Soul Calibur on the list later on, and I will swing it back over to Josh for the last little bit of Power Up.
So as we mentioned before, the last Power Up was the very first tournament for Mortal Kombat 9. Mm-hmm. This event saw the very first tournament for Skullgirls. It literally came out, if you're on the PSN, it came out 3 days before the event. If you got on Xbox, 2 days. So literally, no time to prepare. And by the way, the game doesn't have a move list built into the game. There's the guides online, and the Autumn Games put out,
a supplemental list,
right?
So people who can practice.
But I mean, even with that, like the caliber of the players in that tournament, at least at the top level, like it blew me away how much people already figured out with only a couple days of gameplay. Yep. Now, don't get me wrong, seriously. Every time I walked past the Skullgirls area, everybody that was playing in that tournament was playing non-stop. And I actually played in the Skullgirls tournament. It was really fun. I ended up losing, unfortunately. I actually had to play Keats in the semifinals, and he pulled out some crazy stuff. He had obviously practiced the game more than I had.
Maybe a little bit.
Just a tad bit. Who knows? I mean, it's one of the things where, with doing the coverage of the tournament, I didn't have a lot of time to practice, but hey, whatever. I had fun. It was good times.
Another cool little side bit, Josh's Xbox was actually not only donated to the event so people could play their matches, but also was on the grand final stage.
Oh, yeah. Not that really means anything. I mean, I don't know.
It was kind of cool.
Anyways.
So
let's move on to the results. We have.
I'd be hyped. I'd be freaking out. That stuff would be on eBay.
This was
first official Skullgirls tournament
put on Team
console.
Spooky's stream, man.
Oh.
I think at one point I actually mentioned it. I was like, oh, what if they hit the guide button and my gamer tags
pops up, and everyone's like, what?
It happened. It was up there. Not that matters. So let's go ahead and go into the finals results. We have Jet M at number 1, which played Valentine Parasol. We have number 2, Zenak, which he actually played just Peacock. And then during the finals, the second game, he added Parasol to his team. And then TS Nerd Josh at number 3 and Thulius at number 4. Nerd Josh just played Sarabella, and Thulius played Parasol and Misfortune. The cool aspect of that game is how you can kind of pick your teams. And throughout the entire weekend, I think most people played 1 or 2 characters. But moving on, we have Vampire Savior at number 1. We have Mr. Kyle W. Number 2, we have Kajak. Is that how you say
Kajak.
it? Kajak?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, I got it.
Yeah.
Number 3, our very own Ailerus. Shout out to Zach Marquette. He helps us out with BossFight TV here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 4, Mighty Mar. And also, cool little tidbit, Ailerus also played, all these guys played in a 9v9 earlier in the week. And Ailerus actually ended up pulling out the fight, like the clutch victory at the end.
It was 20-18.
20-18, and he won the last 3 games straight
games.
It was awesome.
There's a picture of him in the day 1 recap. He's like, yeah.
Good stuff.
That's exactly how it went. Well.
And then finally, we have Street Fighter 2 Super Turbo. And number 1, we have Cheeseface Immortal, which we have an interview with him up on YouTube. Roy Abyssal, number 2, and TS Sabin at number 3.
It was very cool to see those guys come out too.
Indeed, it was awesome.
Because ST it's still alive. There's still people who play it. I mean, it's funny because there actually is like the ST revival, like especially now with the new netcode and everything like that. So it's very cool to see those guys come out and represent. But as I mentioned earlier, there would be more Soul Calibur news. Matter of fact, there is, because we had on last Tuesday, technically the 10th, because we are doing coverage for the week. We couldn't cover it last show because we didn't have the results. But Soul Calibur 5 had a World Championships hosted by Namco with over a $10,000 prize pot. And wouldn't you know it, they know how to do it in style. Namco actually invited out the top 8 players from around the world. And I mean literally around the world. They had 2 from France, they had 2 from Japan, 2 from USA, 1 from the United Kingdom, and 1 from the Dominican Republic, which you think, with those odds, especially with Kev having won the MLG Winter Championships, probably go to him, but we'd have to wait and see. But no, matter of fact, there was crazy. There were some really good matches. Spooky actually hosted that. He actually streamed the event, so you can go to his channel and view all that stuff. But we literally, when we met him on Thursday for Powerup, was like, dude, I just flew back. Like, I am tired as all. Get out. Let's do this. Let's set this thing up and go. But anyway, let's roll into the finals. We have in the first spot, we have OMG DR.
Omega DR.
Which Omega in DR stands for Dominican Republic. And he played Nightmare. Lo and behold, Nightmare again in the 1 spot. Number 2, we had Akir from France. Which is an interesting story because he actually got knocked into the losers by Kiev. But he fought his way back, beat Kiev in the losers finals, and then in the grand finals actually reset the bracket against Omega DR, which was very cool to see. In the 3rd spot, we have Kev from France, who of course once again played Nightmare. And in the 4th spot, we have No Face Killa from the USA representing. And while all of this was going on, you can notice that Nightmare was obviously in the top spots. We actually have the 1.03 patch coming out for Soul Calibur 5 once again with a lot. I mean, it is a comprehensive update. So we'll have to see as far as balancing issues, as far as Nightmare goes. But obviously, very heavy character going into these championships was very cool to see. Now, we actually still have a little bit more fighting game news. Last but not least, we had Clockwork ran his Fight for the Youth event, which if you don't know, actually helped out his school. He actually teaches a 4th grade class, and what he does is he does this event as kind of like a fundraiser, kind of like a get the word out about like after school programs and some of these kids that maybe have no place to go after school, which was very cool. One of the biggest highlights of the weekend was actually, he said on stream, if you guys donate enough money, they had a list of players and they voted. People got to vote on Facebook. If they raised a certain amount of money, somebody would get their head shaved. And it was actually Marn. So if you actually go out there, you can find pictures of Marn actually on stream, like getting his head shaved, which is kind of funny, kind of not. I mean,
I think it's funny.
It's kind of funny.
Marn without hair.
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
It was pretty good overall. And then that was, I mean, that kind of wraps it up for fighting games.
Fighting games, yeah. So on the other side of things that we haven't talked about yet this episode is some first-person shooters.
FPS games.
We had the Machinima Frag Cup number 3, which those of you out there who follow Modern Warfare, this is you'd be no stranger to this tournament. This was broadcasted on the Machinima YouTube page, which was really cool. This is the first time ever that the finals saw over a 55,000
viewers. Well, this is actually the first time that we got to actually see tangible numbers.
Right.
Because with the YouTube live stream, it showed right up on the viewer, whereas like you have events like MLG,
right?
Reflex GT and the EGL5 are great, and those are hosted on Twitch TV, and you can see the numbers, but we all kind of know that there's a huge following of Call of Duty in North America, so to actually see a legitimate like stream number was great.
Yes, that is true. Because, I mean, all the numbers coming out of this tournaments, like you mentioned before, with like MLG, IPL, and all that stuff, you kind of just have to rely on what they say.
Right.
Not to say that anyone would skew numbers or anything like that, but having that number in front of you, is just really cool.
Yep.
So, for sure. So, let's take a look at the top finishers. We have the one and only Apex North America.
Woo-hoo.
Did it yet again, right after a win over on the other side of the pond, over at the EGL number 5. So, if you remember, they used to be formerly
Quantic.
Team... No,
not Quantic.
Optic Gaming.
Optic
You did it again,
I did it again.
Mike, come on now. Number 2, we have Body Count. Number 3, the Virtual Friends again, which we've seen them as well before. And number 4, we have Collapse. So, congratulations to those teams. It's really cool to see Apex doing so well. Hopefully, we'll see them doing well in other tournaments. And who knows, maybe they'll travel abroad again.
We'll have to wait and see.
Indeed.
But that is not the only thing going on in the Call of Duty community right now, because we also have signups for the Call of the Community event have opened up once again, which if you recall, that is actually the community event that is hosted by Aviator, who gets along with a lot of the pro players as well as a lot of the YouTube favorites, guys who do commentaries and whatnot like that. People sign up to play in the tournament, and then what they do is they do it draft style.
Right.
So you don't have like all of Apex playing on the same team. They rotate. It's just a weekend filled of Call of Duty awesomeness, as well as a lot of good opportunity to raise funds for it's like the clean water. I can't remember 100% off the top of my head, but there is like the clean water movement. So if you're interested in that, if you're a Call of Duty player and you would like to be involved, you can go to callofthecommunity.com. Like I said, signups are open now. Get on there, get them your gamer tag and all that stuff, and get in there and raise some money and have some fun shooting people.
In the face.
In the face.
For real. Oh, man. And moving on, we have something near and dear to Mr. Mohawk Mike's heart.
I have some Quake news.
Oh, yeah.
For all you guys out there who love Quake. That was weird. I don't know.
Hey, man. I don't know. I'm not going to judge you. It's okay.
But anyway, we actually had Four Seasons Gaming actually held another one of their one-day cups. It was over 40 participants actually signed up for this Quake Live 1v1 tournament, including favorites like North American favorites like Dehang, 04, and Rafa actually made it out and played online. That was great to see. But let's get right into the results. Number 1, we actually had Dehang, who in the grand finals rolled over 04, which was kind of surprising. I think that 04 just kind of had a long day and just kind of was not himself anymore. But 04's second spot is really good to see, especially with the revival of Quake. Maybe on the horizon, we'll have to wait and see. And in the third spot, we have DKT. And in the number 4 spot, we have Rafa, who, if you recall, is actually a top player in regards to Quake Live. It's usually like him and Cypher that are trading wins. But Rafa actually said afterwards, he's like, look, I am not happy with this 4th place finish. And in order to better myself, I'm going to start live streaming myself playing scrim matches, which,
there you go.
Aside from Sturmy, who kind of like is on and off about streaming his matches and stuff like that, there really aren't any Quake Live players who are, hey, watch me practice, watch me play the game. So this is a big step forward. If you're a fan of Quake Live, make sure to definitely check his stream out. But then also, if you've never played Quake Live, maybe check it out.
For sure.
Maybe play the game. It's free, you know? It works in Internet Explorer.
For free. Dude, get that Internet Explorer out of here.
It works in Internet Explorer.
Anyways, I like to apologize because I borrowed a cough drop from Mike before the show, and it has run out, so I'm sniffling and coughing. It's just, without fail, it seems like every tournament that we end up going to, I end up getting sick. So maybe that should be something with the code.
I was going to say, is that the code, like #AfterSick?
#eSports sickness. I don't know.
Okay.
No, I don't know. Hashtag
I need a lozenge.
I need a cough drop. There
Okay.
you go. Hashtag I need a cough drop after the tournament. So, or not after the tournament, just hashtag I need a cough drop. Follow iHeart Esports and at BossFightTV. Make sure you tweet at us, I need a cough drop. And if you have a tournament sickness experience, let us know about it.
Let us know about that. I blame Webster.
Anyways, oh man, Webster.
That's an inside story, but anyway. Actually,
moving on.
To round out the first-person shooter news, I actually have some quite big news going forward with the ESL, who is actually going to be picking up quote-unquote tribes, which we already know that Nassel has officially from last year said, like, hey, we're going to use it. This will be our team shooter. So there's already the rumors about Counter-Strike 1.6 being dropped. We already know that CSGO is kind of in there already, but we'll have to wait and see. For all those out there who've never played Tribes, once again, another free game. And it works in Internet Explorer. You just go in there and download it and you play it. It's good.
I'm holding back a sneeze.
Jetpacks.
I was going for the mic. I was like, oh, can I turn this off?
Oh, yeah. There you go.
It went away.
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying.
All right.
Thanks to Blackout, by the way. Mr. Blackout Aaron came from all the way from Connecticut for Powerup. He does coverage with us as well. Threw me a cough drop when you guys were over with Mike.
A little misdirection.
Don't worry about it.
Anyway.
But anyways, going on to the final little pieces of news before we wrap this baby up.
Closing news before we hack up a lung.
Number one, MLG and CBS Interactive and Twitch TV coming together in an epic, ridiculously awesome partnership where they're going to be working together to stream tournaments in the future. And this is really cool news. It's been on the rumor mill for a while, and now it's official. What do you think?
Having it been on the rumor mill so far and having the outlets that I have and the individuals speak to me, it's not surprising, but at the same time, it's definitely a big step forward. Because as we will talk about a little bit later, it really seems like all of these leagues now, it's all about the numbers. How many hours of video are you producing? How many viewership numbers do you have? So going forward, I think it's a great partnership, but we'll have to wait and see.
I think that the battle for North American esports dominance is going to start heating up.
Don't do that. No, not 2006 all over again. Really?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
It's funny because I'm very, very much plugged into Twitter, looking at different tweets back and forth. And it's really funny because both MLG and IPL people kind of like are going a little bit back and forth. And it's really actually kind of funny.
Yeah. But anyway, that's enough about that. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. The next somewhat big piece of news is that actually the official Halo Waypoint Twitter page actually announced yesterday on April 16th that on April 17th, Conan O'Brien would quote-unquote have some big Halo 4 news, which is kind of weird. I mean, we know that there have been gaming outlets that worked before with like the Jimmy Fallon Show, like Nintendo, like releasing stuff, and here are some games that we're working on, but especially the spot that Halo's 4 is at right now, like it's anybody's game. Like we don't know.
Indeed. So, and then moving on, we have IPL 4 has some big news. If you remember, last week, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, IPL 4 Las Vegas with League of Legends and StarCraft 2. It drew the all-time high record of 346,000 peak concurrent viewers. So congratulations to them, and that's outside of Korea, by the way.
That was actually
all those crazy Koreans and their esports, always beating us all the time, even in stream views.
Yeah, that was actually PR Newswire, which actually came up with those numbers, which is actually pretty reputable as far as an outlet. But that's the thing, too. We don't know, because they also partner with GOM TV, how many numbers are there. Is this only the North American stream? We're not 100%. Once again, we'll just have to take it with a grain of salt and then work it in there.
That number isn't in the corner. Who knows?
Yep.
So, and finally,
last but least,
some tragic news.
Some very sad news.
We have Team XOXO.
It's okay, guy. It's okay.
I'm sorry, I'm choked up. Not really, though. I'm just about to die. We have XOXO's 19-year-old captain, Barry Robledo. Unfortunately, he passed away by a stabbing after a Dota 2 match in the Philippines. Just a really tragic story coming out of the esports world. It's actually the first time I have ever heard of anything like that before. I don't know, you've been around a little bit longer than I have, I think.
This is the first time. I mean, obviously people were joking last week about the gaming carnival in, what was that, Iraq or whatever? I can't even remember. I can't even remember.
In India?
In India, my bad. But our condolences, our thoughts, and our prayers go out to not only all of his teammates, but all of his family. This is, I mean, it's funny because somebody actually, one of the teammates quoted, like, it's just a game.
Right.
Like, I don't know. We don't really have a lot more details except for that, you know, things went down, and unfortunately, he's no longer here with us. So,
right. So that is very unfortunate. But that actually rounds out all of the news that we have today at BossFight TV. We would like to thank you guys for watching and sitting down with us. Like I said, as we go forward, we will be evolving this set even more in our new location, so be on the lookout for that. Don't forget to tweet us and iHeart Esports the code for the free, awesome, amazing stickers. Ooh, ah. And in the next couple of days or so, be on the lookout because we'll be uploading all the rest of our content from Powerup this weekend. And yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. So thank you very much for watching. As always, I'm Josh Engel, also known as Anti-Pro.
And I'm Mike Bisson, a.k.a. Mohawk Mike. Thank you for supporting esports, whatever capacity you do. And as always, thank you for considering.